This is StoryRobot. Welcome to r/pettyrevenge. Our first story of today is, steal my desk? Be annoyed for 30 seconds every day. In my last year of my industrial design degree, I scored a paid contract at the Australian government scientific organisation. Although I was only in 2 to 3 days per week, I was shown into a large empty office and told I could base myself there. The office was normally used for students, but as I was the only one on this project, I had the whole office to myself, with about 6 desks. Naturally, the first task is to find the best desk and put it into the best position. Since I was going to be there for a while, I stuck some posters of my project on the wall behind my desk and even brought in some retro decor from home to add a little personality to my part of the boring brick cavern. All went well for a couple of weeks until a few other students moved into the room. Although our paths rarely crossed as they were working on other projects, 2 of them were perfectly reasonable and set themselves up on other desks. The third, who I will call Jerkwad, because that is probably his name, decided he liked my desk. I should point out that all of the desks were the same and mine had no better a view than anyone else's. Mine had my stationery on it, my posters on the wall around it, a clock, a telephone. All were mine. In fact, the telephone wasn't even plugged in, I just brought it in because it was an Erica phone and they looked cool. So one day I come in and Jerkwad is sitting at my desk, while the other students were at their desks. My stuff was packed up and pushed to one side to make room for his stuff. I made some comment about it being my desk and his response was, "Yeah, I won't be here for long," or some other blow-off. To pursue it further would have made me look really petty in front of the others since all the other desks were the same. I set myself up at another desk that day, although over the next few days I could tell my stuff had been moved around and unless I got to the building by a certain time he would steal my desk again. Unfortunately for Jerkwad, one of the things I brought from home was a talking wizard, talking calculator clock. It was a cheap gimmicky thing like you would see at the markets. Basically a black plastic box with a button. When you pressed the button, it would say, "It is 9:05 a.m. When you opened the box there was a calculator, and when you pressed each button it would say the number, and read out the answer. Unluckily for Jerkwad, the clock also had an alarm. When you set it, it would say, "Beep, beep, beep. It is 9:05 a.m. Beep, beep, beep. It is 9:05 a.m. And would keep repeating this for 30 seconds very loudly. I set the alarm to go off mid-morning, put it in my desk drawer, and locked it. For extra pettiness I also changed it to the wrong time. They were sturdy desks. 1940s era, made from silky oak with inlaid green vinyl tops. It is not possible to dismantle them or open them with a different key. I then took the key home and didn't come back for another 3 working days. When I returned I sat at my desk, opened the drawer and turned the clock off before it could go off. When Jerkwad came in he saw me and said, "Can you turn that bloody clock off? There's something locked in the desk and it scares the beep out of me every day and won't shut up." I was about to smash the beeping desk apart with an axe. I said something snarky like, "Sorry, it does sometimes go off when other people sit at my desk." He never stole my desk again. Our second story of today is, rude to a server? Enjoy your stronger drink. A while ago I was working for a popular restaurant chain. I was a bartender there, but frequently picked up serving shifts. Often, I was responsible for training our new employees, and honestly I preferred training them so they knew how to do the job properly. As such, I pretty much was responsible for training the majority of our new hires, and because I spent their first few weeks at their side, I felt responsible for them. Anyway, one particular server that I had was this sweet boy who was great with customers and would literally bend over backwards to please someone. I don't know if I've met anyone who cared about others like this since. As such, I felt particularly protective over this boy. One particular shift, I was bartending and he was serving a larger party that had been sat near my bar. I could overhear everything that was happening while he served them. The lady who I assumed was the head of the party would not give this kid a break and was constantly talking over him, asking for things that we have never had on the menu, of course claiming she'd had it last time, giving him attitude for these non-existent items, basic entitled customer nonsense. I could see the server was visibly becoming flustered with the table, but unfortunately in food, that's what you have to learn to deal with. The turning point for me was when she snapped at the server over a birthday song. Our establishment does not sing happy birthday to tables, however we do offer a free sundae. The server explained this, but she was not having it. He even, very politely, offered to sing, but warned her it would only be him singing as the other servers likely wouldn't join in. She was incredibly rude to him about this and I was behind the bar fuming. As he finally goes to ring in their entree order, she, rudely, asks him for another mojito, saying that I hadn't made it properly. Another thing to note is that our location is next to a hockey stadium, so based off whether we have a game or not, we'll prepare drinks in different glasses. I hadn't been thinking, and had made the drink in the wrong glass, so of course I was fine remaking it in the proper glass. She might have been a B, but I did use the wrong glass for a non-game day. Apparently, she thought she deserved more alcohol since I made a mistake. She sent the drink back and ordered my server to tell me to give her more liquor. One thing you never tell a bartender? Make my drink stronger. So, of course, I remade her mojito with 0 alcohol, except for 2 drops of rum down her sip straw. She certainly enjoyed her stronger drink, and even ordered 2 more. Hope you enjoyed paying almost $30 for 3 drinks with maybe a quarter ounce of liquor altogether. Don't mess with my servers, or insult my drinks. Our final story of today is payback for my horrible roommate. After college, I accepted a job across the country and moved in with a vague acquaintance I had met a couple of times. It quickly became clear that we were not going to get along. He was incredibly rude and condescending, routinely making snide remarks about my intelligence since I had been in a sorority in college. He would instruct me on how to redo all of my chores in his way, always insinuating that I just wasn't as smart as he was. This led to a few heated arguments, and we ended up basically avoiding each other. My room was in the basement, and he was on the 2nd floor. Except for going in and out, I stayed in the basement to avoid him. One night, I returned home and my cat was missing. He is a huge fatty and never misses a meal, so I was immediately worried. I texted the roommate to see if he had let him out by mistake. He ignored me. I looked everywhere in my room and in the common areas, no cat. I could hear that he was home, so I texted again, asking if he could please check his room, or just let me know if the cat got out by mistake. Again, no response. I couldn't search the neighborhood much after dark, since we were in a pretty rough area, so I stayed up all night making flyers and online posts. I called animal control and my parents, and broadly had a massive mental breakdown. I figured the most likely scenario was that he had escaped and wandered into the road. Early the next morning, Saturday, I looked all over our neighborhood. Losing hope, I returned back home. Right before I went back down to my half of the house, I heard a faint, distressed yowl. I followed the noise upstairs and realized it was coming from horrible roommate's locked bedroom. I phoned him repeatedly and waited several hours for him to come home, unlock his door, and let my poor cat out of his closet. No explanation was given, and, this cat being an og fatty and also a jerk, there is no way he silently slept all night. Simply put, there was no way this could have been an accident. At this point, we had 1 month left on the lease, and I was able to make arrangements to stay with family for that final month. Interestingly enough, our internet service was in my name. I paid the final month in full, and loaded my stuff into a U-Haul. I gleefully unplugged and returned our rented router and og fatty cat, and I left town a month early. Wouldn't you know it, later that night my phone starts blowing up with texts and calls. This man is looking for his missing internet. Somehow, I couldn't be bothered to respond. Thank you for watching. Error. Problem detected. Not enough subscribers. Please subscribe, like and comment.